What's going on, guys? We're back we're going to do a quick little prediction video, quick little breakdown, just some of my thoughts about the Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia fight this weekend. A fight that I feel like should be getting more attention if it wasn't, for all the distractions with Ryan Garcia. It may pull some more attraction just because people are so curious at this point now. Where is he in his career? What's going on with him? Is it all an act? Is it not an act? Is he mentally unwell? Did he even train for this fight? Is he training extra hard for this fight? We don't even know about it. Like, there's a lot of question marks that people want to know and people are asking. So some people, maybe a lot of the boxing purists, may look at this fight and kind of poo-poo it off. But I think a lot of people also are a little bit curious. And I'm one of those people. I'm kind of curious what's going on with Ryan Garcia. The deeper I dig into this, you can go through the X and O's of this fight. You can go through, who's good at what, who has the advantages with the speed, with the technical boxing, with the power, with the ring IQ. You can go through all those X's and O's, but if you're mentally not there, a lot of those things can kind of just go out the window at that point. For me, when I look at both of these guys from a technical standpoint, I look at Devin Haney as the much more technical fighter. This is a guy who's not going to go hunting for knockouts. He's going to use his technical ability. He's going to use his speed. He's going to use his hands. He's going to use his ring IQ to kind of just, generalize the fight. And if it goes to the cards, it goes to the cards. And if he just so happens to sniff out a knockout somewhere, which is not super common of him, then he lets it come to him. He doesn't go chasing it. On the other side, you got a guy in Ryan Garcia, a kid in Ryan Garcia, who he's more the one that's going to hunt for the knockout. This is a kid who doesn't per se have the technical ability of someone like Devin Haney, but he does carry good power. He does carry good speed. And when you have speed and power and you can hunt, chances are sometimes that knockout's going to be there for you, and you're going to catch some of the opposition, especially if you're fighting guys at a little bit lower level. Once you start getting to these top echelon guys, that stuff really doesn't work as much or as often. The windows aren't open. The windows that do open are kind of shut really quick. So you got small opportunistic opportunities to kind of catch these more technical guys, these more well-seasoned guys. And when you look at Ryan Garcia when he fought Tank Davis, that was kind of a concern to me, that fight. I thought he would have given a little bit better showing of himself. He did look off in that fight, but then we look back, we say, okay, well, maybe it was the step up in competition. Maybe he's just not on that kind of a level. That finish in that fight, was it a really good body shot? Yeah, it was a good body shot, but there was a point of me that thought there was a little bit of a quit string in him where he could have got up, he could have continued. And he did it. Nasty body shot. We know Tank hits like a ton of bricks, but at the end of the day, a fight of that magnitude, you get up. So that concerned me a little bit with him. He obviously bounces back and he gets a W, puts him back on the board, raises his confidence level, and here we are. On the other side, you got a guy, in Devin Haney, where when you look at both of these guys in camp, right, when you follow the lead up to this fight, it's a personality thing for me at this point with these two. When you look at they both fought each other 6 times back in the day. They split 3-3. But look at the trajectories of their life. Forget about their career. Well, their career and their life, because their career kind of is their life at this point. Look at their trajectories. You got one guy in Ryan Garcia who was a good-looking kid, still is a good-looking kid, but he was a well-touted prospect coming up, and then all of a sudden he found his way kind of the social media route. He made a ton of money in social media, utilizing the tools that he had in boxing, utilizing his hand speed, making these little quick cut videos, showing people with the Flash Gordon costume, and he became like this viral sensation when it comes to social media. And he leveraged that, and good for him. He made a lot of money doing so. But the fact of the matter is, when you look at the other side of that, and you look at Devin Haney, this is a guy who kind of was working in the shadows, right? Through all that time where Ryan Garcia was making money on social media and making these clips and probably in the gym. And if he's training 2 hours, every couple minutes, he's probably like, film me doing this or film me doing that. Devin Haney has his nose down to the grindstone, and this kid was working and working and working and working. So when you look at the trajectory in their career, who kind of really put the more serious time in? You got to, lean that towards Devin Haney. And as the years go on, you're only getting better. You're only sharpening your skills. You're only getting more experience. And obviously now Devin Haney capturing titles. So that's one issue for me right there. When what once was a small gap between these guys have widened and widened and widened and widened, because Garcia went a different way, and Haney went his own way. Haney went more of the I'm going to be the best boxer I could possibly be, and Ryan Garcia went the path where I'm gonna leverage this social media outlet with the boxing skills that I do have, and obviously him boxing and going to the ring and winning fights is only going to propel his social media more. If he went to the ring and lost 3, 4, 5 fights in a row, obviously they'd be like, yeah, look at his hand speed, but the kid obviously can't fight. So both of these guys did very well for themselves utilizing the stage of boxing. Another thing I do look at is the consistency. To me, consistency is key with anything that you do, whether it's your career, whether it's, in a relationship, friendship, sports, anything that you do, like consistency is really, really key for me. And it's a key to success. You get somebody that wakes up at 5 o'clock every morning, and they're on that routine. They're probably going to be more successful than a guy that wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning one day, 4 o'clock in the morning another day, 7 o'clock in the morning another day, and they don't have that structure routine. So, and that boils down to everything in your life. And it boils down to something that I always notice with Ryan Garcia. This dude plays with trainers like musical chairs. This is a guy who, I mean, anytime you look, he's switching a trainer. Eddie Reynoso, Joey Goosen, now he's with Derek James. Like, he can't find that consistency and that cohesion with a good team. And that's key because every coach is bringing in a different, element of training, a different philosophy. Then when you go on the Devin Haney side, this is a father and son connection. This is a recipe, a family recipe that is just building and building and building, and they're learning together and they're building together and they're philosophizing together. It's just a different, it's a different culture on both sides. And that's honestly the biggest thing for me here. If I knew that Ryan Garcia was, structured and he was a little bit more honed in and dialed in, he knew like, okay, this is where I have to be. And I got to put the social media down for a while. And I got to do this. That's a difference in philosophy because the kid does have talent. I mean, let's face it, the kid does have talent, but he's never grown. He's never learned a minor X's and O's when Devin Haney was learning these things on the fly, in fights, in camps, studying film. Garcia's not that kid. He wasn't that kid like Devin Haney that really put his nose down to the grindstone and took those years of evolution and really evolved, his fight game. And then you got to look at the mental stage of Ryan Garcia. That's the big question. Is he playing us all like a fool? Or is this for real? I mean, there's videos of him that he looks completely off the wall. And then there's videos of him where he looks completely normal. He just looks like a young kid. I personally think he's very immature. I do think he's a very immature kid. I think the success, the fame, the social media, the money, I think all that got to his head. And listen, that can happen. It happens to a lot of people. Some people it doesn't. Some people, they stay grounded. When you revert back to things like MMA and you look at a guy like Conor McGregor, it happened to him. When you look at a guy like Khabib, it never happened to him. This guy stayed grounded. He stayed culture. He stayed within the wireframe of his belief systems. And money didn't change him, but certain people it does. And Ryan Garcia is not out of bounds for that. You know what I mean? And who are we to criticize him? Because who are we to say, like, what if we were put in that position? What if we were this young kid making millions of dollars? We were a celebrity. We were a good looking kid. How do we know that we're not going to take that same path? I can't say I wouldn't. I can't say I would. I personally would like to believe I wouldn't. I personally would like to believe I would hold my same belief systems and I would still be extremely grounded. But who knows if I would be doing some bizarre, stuff out there. You really don't know until it's in front of your face. It's just, it's the way it is. But the fact of the matter is this is a situation that we're dealing with him. We don't know where he is. We have no idea how much time he put in. We have no idea what his focus is. This is a kid who should be focusing on the biggest fight of his career. And he's on Twitter talking about how he's going to sue this person. He's going to sue the New York Mets. He's going to do this, talking about how he's going to blow the elites up. And he's going to, I mean, it's, his mind's not in the right spot, so I could see a situation here where, is he playing us to a point? Maybe. And is he not playing us at all? And there's something wrong with him? I don't think there's something bona fide wrong with him. This is a kid who went through a couple mental evaluations, mandated, I guess. And it turned out everything was fine. I think he does. I think he's a little bit lost, right? I think he's just a lost kid. He's a kid that doesn't know really how to handle the fame, how to handle the success. He came across his whole career like a pretty boy, almost like a Justin Bieber in a sense, right? When Justin Bieber came across like this big pretty boy, and then all of a sudden he had to try to act tough. It's kind of like the same thing I see with Ryan Garcia, a kid that like the Golden Boy Part Two coming up. Good looking kid. Now he's got that little edge to him. He's got the tattoos. He's coming to face offs with no shirt on in a book bag, almost like he's trying to get a little bit too edgy, and it's just not who he is. He's kind of lost in functionality at this point. So it's very, very hard for me to pick against a guy that's so dialed in like Devin Haney when you got a guy where we just talked about all his consistencies and all his trajectory and everything he's done to a kid who's just kind of all over the place. He doesn't really know his place right now. So overall, my prediction is going to be Devin Haney. I think that's a smart bet. I don't think the line is really justifiable, to be honest with you, because at the end of the day, a fight is a fight is a fight. And I know a lot of people probably want to toy around with that decision line, and I don't mind it. I think it's about where it should be. But listen, we've seen him quit against Devin. We've seen him quit against Tank Davis, and if Devin Haney really wants to put it on him and prove a point, I wouldn't be shocked if he finishes this fight late. But I think the smart pick, even though I'm sure there's a lot of Ryan Garcia fans out there that are hoping he's going to win or hoping at least he gives a good account of himself. And I'm hoping he gives a good account of himself. But it's very, very hard with all the things I just laid on the table outside their technical ability, just everything who they are as a person, everything going on in their life. It's very hard to bet against Devin Haney. So official pick is going to be Devin Haney.